Hey everyone, it's Andrew here, and I really want to make this episode about my uncle Maroun chatting. Um, I think it's important for me to have posted stuff like that in the first place because it really shows how hypocritical my family was, but rather than that, um, it just shows that I'm not the first one to begin broadcasting secrets. You know, I'm not the first one to begin to broadcast family issues in an unfair, sly, cynical, criminal way. You know, Ami Sharbel knew that he was being recorded, by the way, because this is just how our family is. This is how they deal with conflict. They lie to each other and they spread malicious rumors. I'd imagine that my auntie took that recording because to her it makes my Uncle Charlie sound bad, and she just wanted to share that to other people, including me. But also, I think it was their attempt to make it seem like Uncle Charlie was the issue. And I think that it just goes to show how delusional my family were, because at the time, I think my auntie Rosa was quite proud of herself. She thought it was a good idea to do that. And I celebrated her doing that. I was so happy at that time, in that state of mind, I was thriving on that. I loved being deceitful. I loved being petty. It was me. It was the way that I was raised by my father, you know. Uh, the fact that brothers are recording messages and sending it to other people behind their backs, and that's normal, is the issue, right? What I'm trying to do is not necessarily denigrate one particular family. I'm denigrating the actions that I'm denigrating their actions, right? And the things that they've done, and to show that, number one, they're hypocrites, but also they're really bad at talking to each other. They're really bad at de-escalation. They don't know how to understand each other. They don't care to understand each other. What they want is to hurt each other, is to protect their pride, to protect their ego, to protect their version of events, let's say. It was so important for Ami Maroun to paint Ami Sharbel as the devil, the thief that stole all the money from the family. And I believe that. But that was just him projecting out. That was him ignoring his own issues, right? By projecting, by saying, no, it's not me, it's Charlie. What that video to me reveals is that my uncle Maroun is the thief that my Uncle Charlie was trying to protect the family from. In dealing with my Uncle Maroun, for the year that I was dealing with him, he never took anything seriously. He always told me to lie to my Auntie Nawal and to my Auntie Rada because they were speaking to my Uncle Charlie. This is him as a leader. Him as a leader is to lie and to deceive those closest to him. And remember, he is the eldest brother. This is how he chooses to deal with issues. This is him as a leader. This is him as the son of his deceased father, the true patriarch of Bat Asad, failing at his duty. I think that's a really, really good way to put it. What this video shows is that my Uncle Charlie was right. My Uncle Maroun is a bad leader. He is a horrible director. The fact that he is a bad leader is shown through what he did as a director, what he did to me, right? Pushing me out. Remember, there were countless family members that called him to try to help him resolve the issue. And there was no issue that he wanted to resolve other than making sure that he gets out with as much money as possible for himself and his 2 sons. That's it. That's all that he wanted the entire time. He's not a leader. He's not a good person. He is a disgustingly bad Christian. He's the devil. And all that my Uncle Charlie was trying to do was warn the community about the true devils in Bat Ashad. My father, of course, my Uncle Zulzul, definitely for his own reasons, which are separate and you've heard of already. And of course, the biggest failure, the biggest embarrassment is my Uncle Maroun. At the moment, his son has called the police on me because of issues stemming from the poor management of Happy Lion, the company that he owns, that owns the shares of all of his father's assets, and another construction company, development company, that I'm a director of with his 2 sons. And they've been calling the police to try to push me out. Perhaps because they're upset with me, but this is just what criminals do. You know, I was told this by many members of the family. Andrew, don't be surprised that they're calling the police on you. This is just the people that they are, you know, and they have friends in the police. So, you know, they don't have to call the station. They just call that friend, whinge and whine like Saeed loves to do, play the victim like his father loves to do, right? And tell them that, oh, go to Andrew's house. You got to go to Andrew's house, man. He's fucking telling people bad things. What was it? It was, he heard that Zulzul was saying that I was saying stuff about his infant daughter. And rather than speak to me like a loving, caring cousin, or his father speak to me, or anyone, no, he calls his friend in the police station to try to what? What are they going to do? Arrest me? Great. They arrest me, they put me in hospital again? Great. Lordy loo. This is him as a leader, punishing people that are trying to get their money. I told them, it's a civil issue, not a criminal issue. So the more that they call the police, the worse it looks for them civilly, in civil court rather. But I don't think they understand that. I don't think they know. I don't think they care. I think that the only hustle that they have, the only weapon that they have, is to call people to come to my house to intimidate me. And when they can't get, you know, standover men, because people know me and my mother, they get police. And that's all that it is, really. And it's fine. You know, I've had the police come here dozens of times, you know, in my life. It's my home. It's where my dad used to live. It's fine. But it really shows how disgusting and deplorable they are as human beings and as leaders and as Christians. Again, the crucifix in front of my Uncle Maroun's house to me is as offensive as a jar of piss, as the crucifix, our Lord and Savior, in a jar of piss. That is less offensive to me than the crucifix in front of my Uncle Maroun's house. He's the devil. He's a disgusting, immoral person. And people ought to be warned about him. Because if you cross him, he will call the police on you. And he will lie to the police. He has no qualms about that at all. I know that about my family now. This is just the world that I live in. I thought it was just my father. I think now what I'm realizing is that it was my uncle, the eldest brother, you know, negatively influencing and negatively impacting his younger brothers. I think my uncle is just a self-absorbed narcissist. Person that's only after his own needs and his own wants. He could not care less about the other people that he harms, whether it's me, whether it's his younger brother Charlie, or Majid, or Zuzu, or Nawal, or Ghada. It's just a game to him. He does not care. The way that his son, his eldest son Saeed, threw away a property that we had a $230,000 10% deposit already paid in. He gave it away. He gave $230,000 away to the vendor. He didn't even try to sell the property because he didn't care. He was stressed and he was anxious and he just didn't want to think about the property. He was happy to kick it down the can, and I bet you he was told at the time that somehow I will pay for it. And he believed that because it's easier for him. And I think you see all of this in the following video that I'm really, really, really proud to have made, and I'm really, really, really proud to have shared. All right, let's get to it, yeah? I wanted to send a postcard to show my support for my family, and it made me feel really good, and I'm so proud of them, and it nourished me. And speaking of nourish, let's get to it. I'll be talking about the video and what they say as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I hope it goes well. Do you as well? Ooh. Ooh, lovely and dramatic. By the way, I love this and this effect. The intro, super proud of it. Yeah. So he's dismissing everything that my uncle did, my uncle Charlie did. Yes. Right, that's right. And he did the same to me. He can't speak to me because he's got this big job far away. Oh God. Yes. This is exactly my Uncle Maroun. This is exactly what I experienced. As soon as stuff gets hard and difficult, he doesn't want to hear it. Yeah, I genuinely don't understand what Maroun's problem was at the time. And by the way, this is a dumb point by Charlie, you know. It's just that it naturally accrued more value or whatever over time. That's what property does, you know, it's fine. Charlie did, you know, a bit. Like, he did do the duplex in Villiers Street, right? And by the way, Ami Maroun definitely wouldn't have been able to do that. My God. See, just dismissing what his brother's saying, and not caring to find out whether it's true or false. Just enjoying, like, that he's pissing off his brother. No, you never did that. No. People said you didn't. And you're saying you did, but just to be a dickhead, I'm gonna say you didn't.
Okay. انت عملت 30,000 بس البيت من ظبطه قبل منك انا حط فيه $60,000 وما
And by the way, this overall argument is such a petty, dumb argument. This is like from 10 and 20 years ago. And they haven't dealt with it, right? This is why it's coming up now. They've never dealt with their issues. They don't know how to deal with their issues. Yeah, so my father took a check. So they had a check for a bunch of money. My dad ran away with it, and he never paid it back, by the way, because my dad doesn't pay anything back, because he's a bum. So he's just saying that he didn't take anything. And by the way, I mean, it depends on what you mean by take, right? So they all knew about the money that he took out and they were all happy with it. No harm, no foul sort of thing, right? It's all, yeah, it actually was recorded, you know, but by the way, he didn't care to see it. Ami Maroun never actually cared to see any of these statements or anything when I gave it to him in the middle of last year, early last year, right? I said, no, 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 this is where this is where that is, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. It was all a game to Ami Maroun this whole time. He was playing with me and Ami Sharbel. And see, in hindsight, this was a very reasonable request. See, Ammi Sharbel was trying to be reasonable at the time, and it was Ammi Maroun that was sort of being quite aggressive. I didn't realize it at the time. No one was telling me. They were telling me that Ammi Sharbel was the devil. That he bashed his wife. That's right, yeah. Yeah. Ami Maroun gives you stuff when it doesn't bother him and he doesn't have to do anything and it's easy for him. Yeah, that's right. It was John that did it. Yeah. Ami Maroun didn't want anything to do with it. That's why it's not like, hey, I'll give you this, Charlie. It's like, I don't care, man. I just want to labor and eat cans of tuna. You do whatever you want with the $200,000 check. That's him as a leader. That's him as the eldest brother. Not caring. Not being generous, just not caring. Exactly like his sons. See, they're talking about things that their deceased father said decades ago. They haven't resolved these minor issues at all. Nothing has been resolved. And this is what I mean about they spit on their father's grave. They piss and shit on their father's grave. Look at this. They're still talking about this. This is early last year, but you think that this isn't on Ami Sharbel's mind still? You think that it's not on Ami Maroun's mind? Yep. Yeah, so Ami Maroun doesn't even know. Ami Maroun's a bit slow, quite slow, and so he doesn't remember stuff very well, you know. He might be getting early onset dementia like my father. Yep. Yeah, and my dad must have been so pissed off that his father wanted to give a portion of the money to his little brother Charlie, because my father is a shit brother as well. Yep. I'll just continue that in a second, but I just want to finish that thought that my father was a bad brother, bad husband, bad everything, right? But a huge part of Ami Sharbel's animosity towards the family was due directly to my father and his attitudes towards him and the malicious rumors that my father started about my Uncle Charlie, right? Because my father is a coward pussy. He doesn't fight. He's not a strong man. He just whines like a, like a, I don't know, like a little girl, you know, like a little high school girl that's just in her clique, just bitching about other people. That's all that my father is. He's just a complainer, right? He's a failure. He's just a bitter old junkie, and he's always been like that towards his son, towards his wife, towards his brothers, towards everyone. He doesn't care. So he'd come out of jail. And by the way, my father has this weird thing, like when he comes out of jail that he's owed something from people. It's like, no. You did your time, that's great, but you still have to prove that you've changed, that, you know, you'll no longer go to jail, because going to jail is a bad thing and you want to prevent that from happening. But that never occurred to my father. It was always like, it was someone else's fault. You have to help me now. It was so odd. Yeah, so he'd come out of jail expecting that if there was money to give out, that he'd just get all of it. I don't know why. I literally don't get it. So someone might have to explain that to me. But basically, he was always upset if people were given more than him, or if any of his brothers and sisters were given anything. He's very petty like that. Don't know why. But yep, let's just continue. All right. Do you want to go back or do you want to go forward? Yes. So Ammi Maroun wants to live in the past, right? He still lives in the past. Everything that Ammi Sharb is saying is very reasonable. Love the music, how it's getting even more ominous. Okay, why did you take my name from the directorship? Like, why did you remove my name as director and why did you put your name as director? You're very hard to deal with and you don't know what you're doing, all right? Yeah. And that's all 100% true. Because Ammi Maroun is so reckless and irresponsible, the beneficiary and the appointer had the duty of care to remove him as director. He is such a destructive, reckless director that does not care about his family. He cares about himself and his sons. That's right, he does have a point, right? I'm on Ammi Sharba's side, I'm sorry, he was right. By the way, this is all recorded, you know, there's all documents to what Ammi Sharba did. I think Ammi Maroun knows that, and he knows that if he was to ever go up against Ammi Sharba in civil court, that he'd lose immediately. He's got letters, he's got proof, he's got all that sort of stuff. He did everything the right way. Ammi Sharba reappoints him as director, but he warns him, you know, do the right thing. And Ammi Maroun did not do the right thing. And by the way, that was a petty point from Ammi Maroun. I don't know why that mattered. Because he's a bad, reckless director. Oh my God! Because he'll get his son to make decisions on a property, and his son would give away the property with the $200,000 invested in it. God, would steal trucks from the family, would go to builders and pressure his young nephew to get $100,000 for him, so his son can pay off his drug and prostitute debt. These are just dollars and cents, man. The guy was reckless when Happy Line was just getting the rental income from Redfern. And this is so heartbreaking that now they're talking about like family members dying, man. Their mom and dad dying. No, they're talking about the funeral. God. So this is why I began to bring it up in my Facebook posts, is because they haven't put their mother to rest. They still talk about this sort of stuff. Does that mean like, do you want to put the hammer on the nail? This is, by the way, what's happening now. You know, this is his karma. Yes, it's broken. Yeah, all broken. No, Ammi Maroun did it by stealing money from his dead father. Yeah, by ripping me off. By calling the police on me. Oh, wait. No, he did not care about any of his brothers and sisters at all. And he sort of did that, but then, oh God, he expected stuff back, and what he expected back was just So he doesn't care about the harm to his brothers and sisters. He just wants the power. That's it. That's all that it is. That's all that it ever was. It's just a power play between Ammi Maroun and Ammi Sharbel. He didn't care about doing anything good for any of his family members. He just wanted to be put back as director so he could tell people. Yes, yeah. Ammi Sharbel put him back. No, but he's doing the right thing because the person... Oh God, no, but you're not a leader. Ammi, you're not a leader. You're the worst. You're the worst. You get worked up. The worst decision that could have ever been made was to put Ammi Maroun back as director. You can't prove it. Because it's Ammi Sharbel that will most likely take Ammi Maroun to court. I don't think Ammi Maroun will take him to court. But shit has to go to court now, right? Because the bank's asking for the money back. Ooh. Music by Andrew Toke's Clubhouse. Good job, Andrew. Oh wow, you did all the music yourself. My Uncle Maroun is a hypocrite. Yeah, we get it. This is what this is for, right? So you can get extra context. Wow. I loved watching that. I've seen that several times since I made that. But yeah, it really sort of works me up, you know, because so much has happened since that was first sent to me to now. And I completely understand Ammi Sharbel's issues. I completely understand why there was that issue with directorship and why it had to be changed. And yeah, I'm really happy with me getting to be able to show people, you know, the issues that I was dealing with, right? Because the way that Ammi Maroun reacted to his family potentially losing money was to try to destroy my life and to try to get me to repay, you know, his debt basically, because he's a reckless, self-absorbed director. You know, he's only out for his own benefit, right? And his own benefit really is the benefit of his family. That's all he cares about. That's why he stole money from me. That's why they're driving in a $40,000 truck that was paid from the family. I mean, no one else got a free truck out of this. My God, over $100,000. His son, Majid Toke, got at least $250,000 from the loan through his work with the concreters, and he wasn't happy with $150,000, so he stole an extra $100,000. Jesus, yeah. So you know he's got a lot to answer for, and that's what this video is to kind of help with and help untangle. Yeah, and this is all in Sydney, man. They're talking about their father that's buried in, oh gosh, I forgot the name. Oh, it's buried not too far from here, just up the road, about 7 minutes away, near Auburn, Rookwood Cemetery. Yeah. His father's still not resting in peace because they're still discussing this sort of stuff. You know, there's the property in Redfern that they're talking about, which is 20 minutes away from my house, and a duplex over in Marylands, which is out west, yeah, on the way to, well, you pass Rookwood Cemetery on the way to the duplex that they built, you know, and I think that that's an important point to make, right? Number one, that we're all going to end up in Rookwood Bloody Cemetery, just like Tony, and all their arguments are extraordinarily petty, you know, and that's really all that they are. Just petty grievances between brothers that don't know how to talk to each other. I respect my Uncle Charlie and what he went through, and I hope that he can respect me and understand that a lot of the vile that I was throwing out towards him was coming directly from the rumors that, you know, that I believed about him from his brother Maroun, Zulzul, and Majid. And by the way, his nephew Majid was also, you know, spreading those rumors as well. And then once what happened with me happened and they didn't like what I was saying about them, they turned on me. And they began starting the most malicious rumors about me. Wife bashing, schizophrenic, who wants to kill babies. This is who they are, you know. I really hope that moving forward, truly moving forward, like what Ami Sharbel is trying to do, I think is the understanding that there shouldn't be any connection between the family in writing through some sort of a trust. You know, I think that perhaps Ami Sharbel should own Redfern. Maybe he should own Redfern with Amti Ghada. I think that, you know, they should sell Villiers Street, and if they don't want to sell Villiers Street or if they need to leave it, perhaps Amti Ghada can buy her share at a very, very reduced market value, basically to cover the debt. So, you know, like let's just say, you know, she buys it off us for $500,000, right? She'll have $500,000 equity or $400,000 or $350,000 worth of equity in there, and she'll have a property in Australia. And you can do the same with Amti Nawad. There's so many different ways that you can think about repaying that debt, but there is a substantial debt that has to be repaid, and someone has to cop it or they have to sell. And that's just the reality that they're faced with. And a true leader will sort of see that and be able to navigate forward through all that, you know, through all those sort of hard decisions that need to be made. You know, those hard decisions never affected me. I'm good at making hard decisions. Just very, very, very bad at dealing with people that are petrified of the slightest inconvenience. You know, they're people that I don't really want to associate with anymore. And I think that that's the overall message that I'd like to finish on. You know, I do not want to associate with them and their attitude anymore, but I invite them to come to me nicely, conscientiously, you know, so we can move forward. And I know that that's already begun, and I'm really, really grateful to the family members that have, you know, started that sort of process of moving forward with me, which is great. All right, that's it. Hey, got through that. All right, love ya. Bye.